Something shifted the moment those words left his mouth. Not a dramatic announcement, not a farewell speech, just a quiet, clear-eyed admission that carried more weight than any headline could capture. Paul Sinha, the man millions know as the Sinhaman, speaking about the day he might one day decide it was time for a dignified exit from the chase. You could almost feel the collective pause across living rooms. Here was someone who has spent years answering questions at lightning speed, matching wits with contestants under studio lights, suddenly talking about the possibility that the very mind that made him so formidable might one day force him to step back. And the way he said it, there was no self-pity. No grand performance. Just honesty that felt almost protective of the show itself. He has always been open about living with Parkinson's since that 2019 diagnosis. A doctor spotted early signs while watching him on television, of all things. What followed was a journey that included diabetes, a frozen shoulder, heart scares, and the daily management of a progressive condition. Yet through it all, the quiz brain has remained sharp. Paul has spoken about how a certain mode seems to switch on when the questions start flying. Names of comedians might slip away in ordinary conversation, but the second a quiz question arrives, the answers are still there, crisp and ready. That distinction matters. It is why so many viewers have watched him continue to dominate on screen and felt a quiet sense of admiration mixed with something more tender. Because behind the competitive edge and the dry humor sits a man who knows the clock is different for him. When he says that if he ever becomes a liability he will simply leave, it is not drama. It is responsibility. He does not want to be a burden. He wants the show to remain what it has always been. And that kind of self-awareness, spoken so calmly, hits harder than any tearful confession ever could. Many people watching felt the atmosphere change in those moments. Not because anything was ending right now, but because the future had been named out loud. There is a particular kind of courage in refusing to pretend the road ahead is guaranteed. Paul has said the future may look bleak, yet he is still finding ways to laugh at the cards he has been dealt. Comedy, he has noted, has become a surprising connection with older audiences who carry their own lists of medical worries. He turns the weight of it into something shared, something human, something that lands with recognition rather than pity. You notice the details if you have followed him long enough. The way he manages his energy so the brain is at its best when it needs to be. The quiet determination to keep chasing, keep performing, keep showing up. Studio audiences and home viewers alike seem to sense that this is not a man waiting for the end of the story. He is still writing it, still answering questions, still making people smile even as he acknowledges the limits that may one day arrive. What stays with you is the dignity in the language itself. A dignified exit. Not a forced departure. Not a slow fade that someone else has to manage. He will know. He will decide. And when that day comes, if it comes, he will walk away on his own terms with the same clarity he brings to every quiz board. That sense of agency is rare on television, and rarer still when the subject is something as progressive and uncertain as Parkinson's. Viewers online have talked about the respect they feel watching him navigate it all without turning every appearance into a health update. He still wants to be seen first as the chaser, the comedian, the sharp mind in the room. The condition is part of his life, not the whole of it. And yet when he chooses to speak about the possibility of leaving, it lands differently. It reminds people that even the strongest performers on our screens carry private calculations about how long they can keep going at full strength. Perhaps that is why the conversation continues long after the interview ends. It is not just about one man's health. It is about the quiet negotiations so many people make every day between what they can still do and what they may one day have to release. Paul Sinha has always been quick with an answer. This time the answer was slower, more reflective, and somehow more powerful for it. Maybe what stayed with viewers was not the prospect of an exit at all, but the grace with which he is prepared to meet it. And perhaps that is why moments like this keep people talking long after the cameras stop rolling. What did you notice when you heard him speak about it? Did it land the same way for you?